Hi there, welcome to the second video, which is all about picking the right online business model for you. And the online business model really just means, how does the business that you start online make money? Is it because customers on Amazon are ordering and you get paid a royalty by Amazon? Are you selling something directly off your own Shopify store? Or are you running an online coaching business and clients are paying you every month to join calls? So there's a whole different bunch of opportunities out there, and I'm going to go through some of the pros and cons of the big obvious ones that I see people talking about the most. And I'm going to exclude things like buying crypto or day trading or some of that more speculative stuff that's a very specific skill set. I'm really talking about starting a business that you could own and operate yourself. The main ones that people talk about are things like e-commerce. So that's selling physical goods. Could also be digital as well, but usually when people are talking about e-commerce, they're talking about things like t-shirts off a Shopify store, or it could be physical products through Amazon's fulfillment by Amazon service. So that's called FBA. You'll have heard people talk about that. That's got a whole lot tougher. So with physical products, you've got some pros and cons. I'll just talk about those for e-commerce. One is that you've got to come up with a product idea and probably do a certain amount of branding or design and make a whole product range that customers are searching for online. So you've got to be pretty good on your analytical side and your creative side to pick something that's in demand but not yet too competitive, and then make it your own with a kind of quality packaging or branding mark on it that makes it unique and appealing to customers. And then you often have to buy a whole load of this stock up front, which is expensive, and store it. Then you've got logistics, and then you've got customer feedback and servicing customers, taking payments. So if you run it through Shopify, which is a great platform, there's still a whole bunch of work you've got to do. A lot of email correspondence to prospective and existing customers. You've got to let customers know your product exists. So you either have to spend a lot of money running Facebook or YouTube ads or Instagram ads to get people aware of your product. They aren't just going to trip over your Shopify store or e-commerce website by accident. So e-commerce is good for people who are ambitious and have some pretty sophisticated skills and budget and time, and you're going to need a team to do that one well. So back in the day, and I did get in early on this, Amazon FBA could be a one-man band business. I ran mine on my own with just a part-time assistant for the best part, and that was a multi-million-dollar account. So I ran that from home, from the kitchen table with a baby and a toddler. So Amazon FBA was good for niche products, and if you could manage your own cash flow carefully and you were good at the analytics of choosing a really good product and making it stand out and being able to sell it for a premium price, not just another same product off Alibaba. So I always sourced from interesting places like India or Nepal, Vietnam. I didn't get products from China and just pile them high and sell them cheap. So if you're good at branding and a real visionary and can really organize all the moving parts and do all the marketing, then you might do well at e-commerce. But it's pretty tough going, mainly because you're competing for people's attention on those Facebook or Instagram streams and their feeds where they're not really shopping. They're kind of hanging out with their social things going on, not really looking to stop and buy something. So that's the first challenge, is getting customers and then managing your cash flow, and then making sure there's enough margin that once you've done shipping, whatever percentage returns, maybe paid for an assistant and some team, paid for your Facebook ads, that there's something left at the end of it. So e-commerce, good for people that go big and have got the capacity, but not always easy to get started. And there's been a lot of people gone out a little bit naive how hard it can be. And I certainly think Amazon FBA's still got its place, but it's pretty hard for newcomers unless you've got some pretty decent resource and training and education behind you. So a slight variation on the e-commerce game is a thing called drop shipping, which sounds brilliant because all you have to do is collect the customer's money first for your product you're selling, and then you get the factory that makes it to ship it direct to the customer. So you don't hold stock. The cash flow is better, but here's the catch. So it was something that sounds too good to be true is too good to be true. You don't really have any control of your brand or your product. If the supplier lets you down, you are absolutely without a leg to stand on. You can't keep those customers happy. You'll get mass refunds and then your account gets closed. And so there's real problems if you are just relying on a really generic supplier of a product. Anybody else can sell that product. The supplier themselves can sell that product. They can see your store. And so there's just not really that moat around you that protects your business from other people copying it, other people accessing identical products to yours from the same supplier with the same marketing. And there's a whole bunch of spy tools out there. You know, if you've got a store or a brand doing well, everybody's watching you and picking apart and reverse engineering / copying what you're doing that's working. There's nothing you've got that you own or control in that supply chain at all. So I feel like that's one I wouldn't sleep well at night. I'd feel pretty exposed. and I don't really have anything that's mine. I don't own anything there. I'm just sort of handling some transactions with a bit of a margin. Some people get good at it. I've had no first-hand experience. I always just was put off by the fact you don't own or control your own product with that one. Okay, so that's a 101 of products, selling physical goods online, which you can do from home. You can use your own garage, you can use inventory services, you can have suppliers send stuff direct. So there's ways to do it from wherever you live in the world, but certainly tariffs, storage, refunds, logistics are not very fun. So that's one I've not been looking at all for my future, but people I know do very well with it, so each to their own. I can definitely recommend a few people that teach some of those strategies if you do want to learn, but I'm out of that game. Just message in the comments, say what you're looking for more support around, and I'll point you in the right direction of a trusted ally who I know is reputable and gets their students results. Then on the world of offering a service, this is another way that you could work from home. So say you've had a corporate career and maybe you're off on maternity leave or something like that, but you've got some great skills, but you don't want to take on a local contract with meetings and things. Maybe you could do some online freelancing. So you might think, oh, I don't have any skills at all, but you can very quickly pick up all sorts of skills. You could do bookkeeping, or you could do AI designs using a tool like Canva for people, or you could do some project management if you've got that skill set, or you could be an assistant for somebody who's running another kind of online business or a real world business. You could be in a kind of a sales role doing that freelancing and just earn commission for leads you generate or appointments that you set. So there's a whole bunch of really well paid work in that freelancing space if you're good. And there's platforms like Upwork, it's probably the main one, also Fiverr, and a bunch of other job boards where you can advertise your services, how many hours you've got each week, and then maybe you go through a platform in the short term but have a long-term retainer with clients, maybe take on a bunch of clients. The nice thing about freelancing is it really fits in on your time frame. It's very flexible when you do the work generally. However, it's a bit hard to scale unless you're prepared to start a little agency. So if it's just you billing out your hours, you can have a great hourly rate. But as we know from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you're on the wrong half of those quadrants where you're still trading time for money if you're self-employed or employed. So it's nice to give you flexibility and get used to working from home. It's also a great way to learn a skill and get really good at it and watch what your clients are doing, watch and learn. You get really good exposure and hands-on experience with different online businesses as well. And if, say, you've got an editing and proofreading service, you could definitely hire at lower cost than you, a small team who does work if you can find the work, and kind of take a bit of a margin there, like the classic consulting firm model. There's a senior partner and some junior workers, and you can own that little agency, have your team do the volume of the work, you do the quality control and bringing the work in. Everybody wins. The client gets good quality work. You don't have to work every hour of the day. You're providing work to other people who do a good job. They get paid at their level and you get to keep the difference. And also, one thing that's interesting is if you're ever thinking of selling a business, agencies are really appealing because they often have great cash flow, and usually there's some kind of pretty generic management skills to run one or some sales skills, but there's a lot of people who really like buying agencies or bolting on a new agency to their existing agency to grow it. So agencies are cool if you're good with people and can sell and are very good at sort of templating and being organised with the deliverables. So you could be a kind of a freelance coach as well, or a consultant. It doesn't have to be an assistant type role. It could be quite a leadership type role, but you just advertise those services online, build reputation, get some testimonials. You can work directly through your own website, which you could create, or you could just offer your services through a big platform. So that's a nice option, and certainly a very low barrier to entry. A lot of that's kind of unregulated. You can start really small. You don't need to charge your first clients very much, so you can get into the swing of things and find your feet, get some stuff templated, get some feedback, get some results, and get a testimonial or two, and then you could bump up your prices so it's a bit more profitable for you and worthwhile of your time, and take it to the next level. So that can be fun, and if it's something you're interested in or something that you're just naturally good at, then that's a great option. And people can get a bit sniffy about just working an hourly rate, but actually if it gives you a good lifestyle and you can travel with it or raise your children and be at home rather than be in the office for someone else, and you spend your time productively, then it can be a great online income stream. And if you turn it into an agency, it's a real asset that someone else could buy off you one day. So that's the freelancing model, sort of merging into agency services. Then there's the software as a service. Now, here's where I feel like lying down under my desk because I've just been building one for the last few years and it's been really hard work and really expensive. So I'm not a tech person, and now you don't need to be a tech person to build a software tool or an app. However, I think I kind of timed it where I got the tail end of being just pre-AI when I started building it, and things have got a lot easier, and I've moved my team back to being US based rather than it was sort of a Pakistan, Philippines mashup team to start with, and the comms weren't very crisp and the progress was rather clunky and things just didn't work according to the time frame I'd set. So we shifted to a lovely guy in Colorado who's got lots of experience. Looks a lot more expensive, but the value for money's been way better. We've got AI implemented helping out of things like the help desk. It's actually an AI software tool, which I can talk about another day. I might do a little case study on what I've learned doing that and what's been fun, and I might also sell that business one day as well. So that's been a kind of a build to sell strategy. So I've sold 2 of my Amazon brands. I sold one for over $1 million and the other one for a few $100,000. So I really enjoy selling businesses, and one advantage of living in New Zealand, which most countries don't get to enjoy, is there's not a capital gains tax here. So if you build an asset and sell it, that's not generally, obviously I'm not giving tax advice here, but in New Zealand we don't pay tax on selling an asset. So that's been something that's quite appealing to me, to build and sell rather than build and keep earning income that's taxable. So software as a service is not for the faint-hearted, but is very lucrative if you can get it right, because your project's digital, it's instantly global, it's totally scalable, there's no cost of goods when you sell a copy of your software. You don't need to pay anything to create the next copy for the next customer. You just need to build it once and keep it live and keep it updated, add new features. So it's really a project management skill set, which is not my strong suit, sadly. I'm a little bit more chaotic and entrepreneurial than tight project manager. There's no Prince 2 in my repertoire, I'm afraid. But I've enjoyed the creative side of starting a software brand and learning a lot. And the cash flow off it's good, it's profitable now, and it's been a good learning experience. But if you're new and it's your first business and you don't have a background in sort of tech or project management, it would be quite a big undertaking. You could do a smaller thing like an app. There's some pretty cool tools out there where you can kind of produce an app quite quickly with something simple, like little calculators and things like that could be cool if you've got a good idea there. But the full-blown software tool is quite hardcore. Then I'll come on to probably what's my favourite category, which is digital products. So this would be anything from a digital download. You could have a printed, well not even printed, a digital email course for 28 days on decluttering your house, for example. I've signed up to things like that before. So you pay some money and you get some stuff sent to you online. Or it could be you pay some money and you get access to an online course, or you pay some money and you join a community for $30 a month of other people with the same passion or business challenge. Or it could be even in the form of coaching or consulting that would still be delivered online, and you can deliver the whole thing over Zoom. So clients or customers pay for a product or service, it's delivered completely digitally. And this could be all sorts of things. So I'm going to do a deeper dive into coaching, consulting, community, and courses, 4 C's, in the next video. So if you want to see what I love about coaching, consulting, community, and courses, then I'm going to break down how to get started delivering, selling these, how to produce them. You don't need to be the face of your course. You don't need to be a world-class expert to teach something. You just need to care about the client's results and be willing to learn a few steps ahead, and be basically following best practice and know how to teach adults, and presumably it's for adults. It could be a business type topic. It could be a complete personal interest, passion type topic. So what I'm really looking forward to is, having kind of done the pros and cons of the other business models, really now dive into this digital space. Digital products for sale is so lucrative, so fun. It could be anything from a simple PDF people pay for to download an itinerary for a trip they want to do or something, right through to, tens of thousands of dollar coaching programs with live events, retreats, the whole thing. I guess retreats aren't totally digital, but you can certainly, using online resources only, build a very substantial business through coaching or consulting or courses or building a community. And often whatever you do, there's going to be a bit of a combo of 2 or more of those things. So that's what we'll jump into next, a deep dive into those different asset classes within digital downloads, and how, if that's something that's appealing to you, you could get started. And also there's probably some thoughts you have that you couldn't do that because you're not the expert in it, or you couldn't possibly teach that because you're not a coach or a teacher, or you'd hate to be on screen. Don't worry. Watch the next video. I'm going to show you how you don't even need to be on screen to teach your course. Everything can be faceless, and how to outsource things and upskill in areas and put together a world-class package that will get your clients and customers the result that they're looking for. So see you in the next video. Make sure you click on that now, and we'll take you through the best of digital downloads and digital products for sale.